Good evening, Zablon, and good evening to our learners. Mine is very simple. I hope that we are here to learn and we are here to enjoy today's session. Here is where we get to learn quite a lot about data and what that information does and how it affects us in a real life basis. So please stay tuned. Get your notebooks ready, get those laptops fired up. So we are about to get things done. So over to you, Zablon, and I hope to learn too.
All right. Thank you so much, Gerald. Yeah, so we can start. Um, Allow me to share my presentation slide. Okay, there it is. It's visible on your end, is it? Okay, just give me a
Not
minute.
yet.
All right. How about now?
Yes, yes.
All right. So in the afternoon session, I did a recap of last week's assignment, sorry. If you want to if you want to get a know-how of how the assignment was being done, just head over to that recording. Also in the morning session, we shared a lot of information regarding the groups. I can see we have quite a number who are still asking about the database group. So everything was shared in the two sessions, the morning one and the afternoon one. Now in this one, because I know it's the evening, I know you guys are tired. I don't want to give you so much content. I'll just start right away. All right. So what you're going to learn at the core of this lesson, you learn how to do the following. Number one, you're going to learn how to use the different types of joins, the inner join, the left join, the right join, and the full join, not outer, but full join, to retrieve data from multiple related table. Number two, you're also going to understand the concept of relationship in SQL. We have the one-to-one, the one-to-many, and the many-to-many, and how they are represented and managed. We're also going to gain hands-on experience in creating and managing relationship between tables in a sample database. So with that said, let's start with the first topic. Sorry guys, I'm about to drop a trigger word. Okay, why is it not going to the next one? All right, there. Relationship in SQL. I know when I say relationship, yeah, I know quite a number of you have gone through it, eh? But I promise you, it's not the same. It's not the same like the one in real world. I know, eh? I've also seen dust around relationships, so you're not alone. Hold on, brother. We're in this together. Now, when it comes to relationship, we have different kinds of relationship. So why do we say relationship? It's because in database, you'll find that a relationship between database table is when one of them has a foreign key that references the primary key of another table. So we say a relational database consists of multiple related table linked together using a common column, which is known as a foreign key. So we've learned about the different types of relationship, okay, with the relationship in SQL. So we have the one-to-one, the one-to-many, and the many-to-many. Let's start with the one-to-one. So what exactly is the one-to-one? We say that a one-to-one is where each record in a table is associated with only one record in table B and vice versa. So it includes a foreign key in one of the tables that references the primary key of another table. Let me ask, if today you marry someone, the pastor usually say what? Um, you now become one, right? We joining you to now become one, right? Yes, the one-to-one relationship. Now, for example, allow me to go to the LMS. So if you go to the LMS, how does the LMS, if you go to the profile section, which I believe everyone has an access to, the LMS is able to know that this profile is for this learner. And when you open this other one, it will be able to know this profile is for this other person. And when you open the other one, it will be able to differentiate that these other profiles for this other person. So how does the LMS know, okay, that this is this person, this is the other person? How does the LMS differentiate like who is who? Yes, maybe we can type it in the chats. Yes, how does the LMS differentiate between who is who? Anyone would like to give it a try? Yeah, I can through foreign keys. Thank you, David. Profile ID, Noah, nice one. Using foreign key, username and password, database, Kevin, primary keys, through populated in the DB, through primary keys, who be that in the, yeah, she's a learner like you. Now, I'm looking for my draw IO. Oh, here it is. So I want to draw a simple table. So I'll just remove this. Okay. Now, if you are following along, just take a pen and paper and then sketch. Now, if I was to draw something about one-to-one relationship, I'll create two tables. So this one will be for users, which will store a lot of user-related information. So I'll write here user ID. And then here I can write, I can store maybe their password. Another thing I can store is the timestamp, the date created. Also another timestamp, an update if they change anything within this user. Uh, date. Another thing I can store here is the email. So it depends with you which records you want to store from a user. So I'll just leave it like that. And then when I come to this other side, I'll create another table. So this other table will be the profile table. And then, so we'll have unique identifiers. We call them the profile ID. And then I can store, I can take in the profile image. Another thing is their bio. Another thing I can store related to them is what? Gender, like that. So, oh, and then the final thing is the user ID, since I want to make sure these two tables are related, user ID. So how do I show a one-to-one relationship using two tables? Okay, if you have this tool, when you scroll down, you'll see these sticks. Okay, they are not called sticks, call them cardinality. Now, there's one when you hover your mouse around it, it pops up with like a small title or description. Like that one is many, mandatory to many, many to many, optional. There's 0 to 1. So I'm looking for 1 to 1. I'll keep on hovering there. Now, once I get it, I just go and connect it over there. And then I also pick this one, connect it there. Now, for any engineer to understand how the database is structured, they'll just come to this table and then they'll be able to understand like these tables are related to each other using a what? A one-to-one relationship. Now, if I was to create these two tables in my SQL workbench, how would I go about it? So I'm gonna switch to my SQL workbench right now. Please, if you're writing, just kindly write. If you are writing, just sketch these two tables. Okay. Now, I'm gonna open my SQL workbench. There it is. Now I'll log in. Then I'll create a new table. I mean a new database. I'll call this database create database. I can give it any name. I'm trying to think of a name. Okay, I'll just call it Val. And then I'll create it. So I want to tell the server I want to work with this database. So I'll write there, use then space, go to the next line. Now the server will know currently I'm working with the Val. As you can see, I have a lot other database, but I want to tell the server which database do I want to work with currently. Now I'll write use, go to the next line. Now create, should be in capital, create the keywords, create table, users, open a bracket, go to the next line, user ID, gonna be an integer. I also want to pass another constraint. We call that constraint primary key. Okay, for it to take care of the order of rows. Another one that I want to pass is called the auto increment. Why? Because I want to tell the server, kindly, please take care of the IDs for me. I don't want to keep on remembering which was the last ID, which was the last ID. Now, the other thing I want to store regarding users, we said is password. Now, the password, you can create varchar 100. Okay, I know when you create now a user, it will be just the bare password. But when you combine MySQL or the database with a programming language, there's a way you can hide the password. Okay, you can hide the password. There's a way to write that. I believe you're going to be taught in the web module and also the Python module. But if you're not taught, please let us know in the WhatsApp group, then we're going to show you. Now, apart from that, the other thing is the email. The variant char gonna be 100. Can just close it at that. Now let's create the second table. Create table profile. Open a bracket, go to the next line. And then the data type, pass another constraint. Another one, auto increment. Why? Because I want to tell the server, please, for now, generate the IDs for me, because I'm a little bit tired. I don't want to remember which was the last ID. Yeah. The other thing is the image, the profile image. I hope everyone is aware how I'm writing my the name of my columns, right? So if you have a column name that is with two words separated, so MySQL does not allow you to separate the two words. So what we usually do to separate the two words, we use an underscore. Or alternatively, you can write it like this. Okay, profile image. So I prefer underscore like that. So I'll just have this one as a variant char because I'll pass in a link of an image that is stored somewhere else. Right, so that's 255. I can say here, not now. And then I'll create now the foreign key user ID is the integer. I'll say foreign key, open a bracket, user ID, references, references this other table. Do you see this other one? Yes. So you come and paste it here, open a bracket, user ID. See here. So it references that column like that. You close it, close that, semicolon. Hi, that's how it looks. So users and the profile. Okay, can come here and say profile table. There. So once I execute, all this will be created inside the val. So once I execute, we've created it there. Allow me to just confirm. We have the users and the users profile. There, it's currently empty because we've not stored any data. So in the afternoon lesson, they said I copy for them this and then send it in the chat. So I'll send it in the chat. So if you're able to copy and paste and try it on your end, well and good. If you're not, there, so just write it down and then you'll try it on your own after the lesson. Paste it in the Q&A. Okay. Q&A. Now I'm not allowed to type in the Q&A. So just type there so that I paste it to 1 and then everyone else will copy from that. Or I can just copy it in the layer. Let me see if I can paste it. I've shared it in the layers chart there. So yeah, you can copy it and try it on your end. What is variant chart 255? Okay. Now, when you write this 255, it means this is the number of characters a column can take. So you can write anything as long as these characters do not pass 255. So, for example, the reason I've written 255 is because I want to paste a link that is maybe the image is hosted somewhere else. So I'm assuming that the link I'll post looks like this. So I want that the link I'll post does not have words beyond 255. So if I try to post any link that has more than 255 words, I'll get an error. All right, so that is it about the one-to-one. Now, let's touch on another type of relationship, which is very important and one of the most used kind of relationship. We have the one-to-many. So with the one-to-many is where multiple column in one table can be or can appear multiple times, can appear one or more times in another table. Higher. Now, going by the slide's description, it's written that each record in table A can be associated with multiple records in table B, but each record in table B is associated with only one record in table B. For example, I know quite a number of you have, yeah, I don't want to say it. Now, let me use another example. Not here. So for example, I know you all access an e-commerce site. For example, if I open this e-commerce site, how you see now, if I open the TV section, I'll get all kinds of TVs. I can see there's a 32-inch, 32, like that. I can see the 65, 43, and that. Now, if I go to another category, maybe appliances, I see all the appliances. So how does the database know, like, how does this one fall under which category? Now, let's come back to our Draw.io and try to create something of similar. I'll have two tables. I'll remove this one, delete, and then create a category table. Now, here we say ID, and then we can have category name. I'll delete these other ones. Then here, I'll call this my product table. So here, the ID, the name of the product, the price, weight, the size. You can write a lot of things regarding the product, the image, and so on. So I want to show like one-to-many relationship. So I'll hover my mouse around these cardinalities and then look for one that's written 0 to that. So I'll take that there, and okay, I forgot to add another row or column. I'll say here, category ID. Now, come and copy that and take it there. So this is what I want to make. Okay, let's have it like that. One to many. Yeah, another way, I don't know if you remember, allow me to digress a little bit. So if you remember, the trade booking database had a lot of one-to-many relationship if you went through it. So you can see here, the passengers with the booking table, the train journey, and the schedules, also the carriage class, the carriage price, and all that. Now, this is what I expect you to do in your group work. So you draw for me an ERD and also generate like all the SQL that you'll create based on what the question is asking, and then submit. Now we've created or we've drawn our ERD. Now it's time to create it here in the workbench. So I'll create two new tables. I'll create the categories table and then create table categories. Open that, the ID. It's an integer, also a primary key. I'll leave it like that. Category name, the variant char 100, like that. Create the other table. So right, create table products. Open that, go to the next line. Product ID. It does not matter how you choose to name your column names. What matters is the kind of data that will be stored in the column or in that row. So product ID, we have the int, we have the primary key. So here I'll also add a name, product name, the variant SHA 50. Now, another thing is the price. Price is gonna be a decimal. I want it to take in 10 values with 2 decimal precision. I also want to pass another constraint called a check, meaning it will check the price of the item being added is not less, is greater than 0, like that. Another thing we can store is, okay, we can leave it at that. There. So, okay, I forgot to add the category. Sorry. So category ID gonna be an integer, right? Of data type. Not now. Create here foreign key. You can see how I'm trying to be consistent with the keywords. So the keywords, please just make sure you write them in uppercase, not small case. Foreign key category, I'll just copy it. There, close it. References. The name of the this other table is called the categories. Paste it there. Open and then pass in the ID. Like that. It's more ID. Now, the one to main. So I can execute this now, and then we'll have these two. Okay, so there it is. So let me refresh here. We have the products, and we also have the categories. All right, so I'll copy this and send it to you. Okay, it's not copying. I've shared it. There. Now, the next step is about what you call the one to many. No, sorry, the many to many. Allow me to go back to the what? To the slides. Yeah, let's talk about what you call the many to many. So with the many to many is where let's say we are creating a database for a university, and then we capture details about the students who attended a class, among other things. The rules are students can enroll in multiple classes, maybe 3 to 4 per semester. So we can do, okay, let's come here to the Draw.io. We create like different tables for this. We call this class. I'll remove this. And then this one, we call it the student. So I'll remove a lot of columns here. And also delete this. So if you're sketching down, please sketch this. So their name and also their gender. But you can store multiple information regarding a student. Now, in the class, I just want the class name. Maybe they're taking physics and something else. Now, to record like multiple classes that a student is taking in this table can be hard. Reason being, it will be hard to maintain. Okay, so if you store like the IDs of class in the student table, it will be hard, so hard to maintain this table. Now, for that case, we have to introduce another table that we call a bridging table. So with this bridging table or a joining table, we can call this the class enrolled. Now, inside this class enrolled, we can say the class, we can store the class ID and the student's ID, like that. Then delete that. And now it's time to show the many to many. Just that there, that and there. Come back here and then show this other side and this other side, like that. So if you're sketching down, just sketch and then you get a chance to try it once the lesson is over. Now, we're good on this part, right? So we have already sketched it. So let's go to the workbench. Now, with the workbench, it's going to be simple. So we start with the class table, create table class, the ID, it's an integer, primary key, also the class name. Another thing, yeah, that's it with the class name. So with the class name, it can either be a physics class, mathematics, math, chemistry, biology, computer, and so on. Now, let's create another table called the student table. Now, to create a student table, it's easy. Believe by right now, there's no one who does not know how to create a table. So create table, students, open that, go to the next line. Thinking of a name. Okay. I'll just write it as ID. Also a primary key. Their email. Varun Shah of 100. Not now. Another record that you can store regarding a student, we can store the age. It's just like the normal data that usually have to fill when joining an institution, right? Now this can be an integer. I'll just close it at that. And then we now create the joining table. So the joining table creates table. We call this table class enroll. Open a bracket, go to the next line, have an ID there, have it as integer, primary key, and then have a class ID, gonna be an integer, and another one, a student ID, also an integer. Reason being, because you see this column, it's taking what? Data type integer. That's why we have to write integers here. If it was variant char, we could have also written here, variant char. I believe that is clear. So I'll just write there int. So I'll come here and write foreign key. Plus class ID, close it like that. References. The class, let me just get the name correct. Sorry, I don't feel like typing. I'll just come and paste there. Class ID, comma. I'll just copy this the way it is and bring it down here. Now interchange here. Yeah, it's supposed to be students. Remove this comma. And then we close it like that. Ooh, that was long. Now we have the three tables, the class, the student, and the class enroll. So if I execute, how do we execute? 1, 2, 3. There. Nice one. So if I refresh, we have our class enroll, class, and students. I copy it and send it your way. Alphanumeric. With an example, if a primary key is variant char, you just write alphanumerics. So go under Patrick's message. I've shared it. I've shared the code there. All right. So that is it about the relationship. Okay. Now, okay, I see people are asking, how do you get the image there? Now, to get the image out of this, you see here, it's written file, save. So if I want to save, you can see it's already downloading there. So you can come here and say, save as, and then choose the format that you want. I love having mine as PNG, and then I usually rename it to according to how you want it. So I'm just writing that for you guys to understand there. So authorize Nana, nope, that, and then to be saved. So that is it about drawing and then saving the image. The other thing, okay, before I even touch on the next concept, I want to see if you guys will be able to tackle this question. Let me share this. So these are two interview questions. Let me see if you can be able to tackle them. So I've shared the link, right? Now, just tell me, yeah, the first one was already done. So let's try to do the this other one. A problem is you want to update roles in one table when corresponding roles exist in another. For example, if an employees appear in table employee bonus, you want to increase that employee salary in in table EMP, meaning employee, by 20%. The following result sets represent the data currently in table employees. So, okay, I forgot to add the employees table. But if you ever given such kind of a question, if you ever go to an interview and then they give you this kind of question, number one is ask for the data. How is the data stored? So be aware of that. Like just ask them. Don't be afraid. Ask them, how is the data stored in the tables? Like for example, I want to open the sales RDB. Where is it now? Oh, here it is. So ask how is the data stored? Try to see if you'll be able to understand like how the data is stored. Like just read through. Okay. How is the data stored? Just go through and see. And then try to understand the relationship between the two tables that you're being asked there. So for our case, we're being asked about the employees table and the employee bonus. So yeah, I'll allow you to go and do it because I can see time is really going. So if you're able to do it, okay, so I'll just guide you how to do it. Create two table, an employee bonus and an employee table. Fill it in with data and then try to update it with 20% salary increment, just like how we did it the first one. Okay? Yes, it's very simple. So try to do it, share in the WhatsApp group. I'll tell you who's correct. All right. Now, we usually say, so kindly let's come back to the slides. Now, if you're done with the interview question, or you can just take it and do it later. Now, we usually say that a relational database might consist of relational database, which are linked together using a common column, which is known as a foreign key, right? Because of that, the data in each table is incomplete from a business perspective. For example, I believe everyone has the sample database, right? That we use in the week 2. We've been using it from week 2 lesson. So if you go under this, you'll find that we have like two tables. We have the order details and which other one? We have, okay, we have multiple tables. We have order details and order details and orders, right? So you might be asked, maybe someone wants to get the data from the orders and also wants to get the data from the order details, but you don't know how to combine the columns in this first table with this other second one and then get one thing out of that. So you get one table or get one result instead of getting two results. Now with that, I want to introduce to a concept called joins. So with joins, is what you can use when you want to combine multiple columns from one table to with multiple columns from another table to get one result. So a join is a method of linking data between one or more tables based on the values of the common column between the tables. MySQL supports inner join, the right join, the left join, oops, and the full join, not full outer join. Don't know why I've not managed to change this. It's supposed to be full join, not full outer join. There. So there's inner join, right join, left join, and full join. So let's start with the most simplest one, the inner join. Now with the inner join, I wanna do it using a lab that we have in the PLP database, GitHub. So if you come to the repositories and then go and see lab 6, okay, it's here. So we have the instruction on how to run it locally, that is. So I'll come here and go to the HTTPS, copy, I'll share the link with you right away. because you'll start asking me where to get it. There, I've shared it. There's the link, guys. So just head there and then do what I'll do if you're able to. Now, so to run it locally, you clone the project, go to the project using CD. So I've made your work easier for you just to click here and then copy and then paste it in your terminal. So I'll start here. So there, copy it, right? I'll open my CMD. There it is. I'll maximize it and then change to my favorite location, that is the desktop. If your favorite location is the documents, just head over to the documents and then write git clone, paste it there, paste the link, press enter. Watch the magic happen. Now, once the magic has already happened, change to lab 6, clear the screen. Now the next step is to open what? Visual Studio Code. And then come here and pass your password. So this is my password. And also save it. And also here, like that. So what you are doing, if I copy that endpoint and come here to this browser of mine. So what you're doing, we're trying to, you see all this data. We want to fetch this data and store it in our database. Do you see all this data? Yes. Okay. So we want to fetch all this and store it in our database. Now, to do that, I've written a small script for you. So it's here. So once you pass that and that, we create a table called users and then we store the various record. Now, I'll create a new database. So if you allow me to close all but this and then remove that, I'll create a new database, create database. Okay, so the database, I'll call it blog, execute, and then I'll write here use like that. So we've already created a database. Let me refresh here. It's here now. It doesn't have any table. So I want to create a table automatically and also populate that table with data. Where am I getting the data? I'm fetching it from someone else's API. Higher. Now, once we are done, I said, this is where you are putting the password. It's written here, add your password. If you follow these comments that I've written for you, you'll be able to execute this simple script. So come back to your terminal, install the requirements, pip install -r recursively requirements. This has already been taught in Python class, so I'm just repeating. Now, once you've done that, okay, we've already installed the dependency. Now it's time to run the files. So I'll write py. So the first file that I want to execute is the users main.py. That's the one for creating users. So if I press enter, once you get data successfully inserted into my SQL database, come back here, refresh, you're going to see the table, and there it is. And if I try to retrieve everything, you see it has data. Okay, it just have a sample data of 10 users. Now we want to also create another table called post. So come back to the terminal and then just write py for Python and then post dot py. Press enter. And there it has finished. So data successfully inserted into my SQL database. Come and refresh. There it is. So we have the data. So we have two tables, right? Two different tables. What if a scenario asks, I want you to combine the columns of this table and the columns of this table? How would you write it? Let's try to use an inner join to see how we can combine the two. Now, for example, I'll write, maybe I can write select the name, title from users, you, inner join. Inner join the post, passing an alias on what? On P user ID is equals to u.id. So if I execute, there, so we get all this. So where am I getting this? The name. The name, I'm getting it from the users table. So you can see Lynn Graham is here, right? If you go to the post, you'll see that anyone with a one, anyone who has a one is who? Lynn Graham. So all these they've been created by a user who's called Lynn Graham. So what we did here, we wrote a simple inner join to combine the data from users table and data from the post table to get this. So I'll just copy this and share it your way. So copy it.
Zablon,
Yeah.
let's just repeat the dependencies where you install some dependencies. I think we lost some of them there.
Hey, I thought that is already been taught in. Okay, no problem. Now to install dependency, it's even written here. So we just come and copy here. So you copy here, okay? Don't have a lot of pressure of writing it, just copy. Okay, I've made it easy for you. And then paste it there. Control V. Why is it not copying? There, like that. So once you do that, you press enter. Right? So it will install all the dependencies that are required to run the project. Okay, so what do I mean by dependency? Dependency means that your project depends on that package for it to run. So we have the PyMySQL. We also have the request to fetch the API and these other ones. Those are the two most common. Now, once you've done that, you'll see that we have two files, right? We have the main.py and the post.py. So when you go to the main.py, currently I'm in the main.py, you'll see a comment somewhere written, add your password. Do you see it? Here, it's on line 13. Add your password. The only thing you'll be required to change here is add your password. If your password is 1234, you write that. If yours is 123, you write that. If yours is John at 2020, you write that. No, you're not understanding the packages. Yours is to just install them, okay? Install the dependencies. Once you install, they'll be installed in your computer. Yes, so once you install them, I've said the command to install. It's written in the GitHub repo. You just need to follow. Okay, we start with git clone, copy, come and paste it in your terminal. There, you press enter. Like that. It's gonna be clone. Now, once you've cloned and cloned, come again, copy this. Don't do anything, just come and be copying this, the commands, okay? Now paste it there, like that. I know it's lab6 because I've cloned inside this repo. And then once you're done, come to the next one. So we've already executed the first two. Now we go to the third one. Copy it, come and install, like that. Yours is just to copy, enter, copy, enter. And then, so import user data. I've written for you there. So it's main.py. So you pass it like that. It's the main.py. So once you execute, it's gonna create for you a users table with the users data, all this. And then when you pass again, the post.py is gonna create this other table with all this data. Where am I getting this data? I said this data, I'm fetching it from someone else's API. So the way I'm showing you how to fetch data from an API, you can use this example to fetch data from any API that you want. So there, this is how the data looks like in the API. So if you want to go and on this API, let me share the link and see it now. So we are fetching this data from the API. Have you been taught about API in web or Python? Please just comment it there. No, okay. Yeah, okay, then I think I'm ahead of time. Hey, so I try to explain it. Now, you see like how our LMS, the front end, is able to communicate with the backend, the database. Now, the front end expects something like this. Do you see the way this data is? This is how the front end is able to read data that is stored in the database. Okay? You see the way it is? It's in JSON format. So what is a JSON? A JSON is a data interchange format that the front end depends for it to read data from a backend. The Visual Studio Code part. Okay. Now, once the Visual Studio Code part. So you've already opened it, right? You come here on line line 13. You pass your password. I said if your password is 1234, don't write mine. It's yours is 1234. 1234. Because I know most of you have 1234. So please, you pass your password 1234. And then just leave the user as root. But if you want to play with it, try to create a new user. And then maybe if your name is John, you can test it with John. You can test it with any user, right? Now, once you've done, try to play with it. So the reason why I'm showing it is because I want you to have more data to play with. So you can try to maybe change it, try to update it and see what will happen. So you have the entire data, just play with it, see what is in the data. I think the data is in Spanish, so you can try to play with it. Try to play with it, try to fetch it using the different commands you've learned from week 1 up to the week that we are in right now. Okay, so there is the inner join command. Aya, who is still stuck? Where exactly? When you tell me I am me, you tell me where so that I know where to start. The initials. Okay. By initials, you mean, do you have access to the repo? Maybe my definition was kidogo short. API. What is an API? All right, so hey, let's change it now. API. We've changed from database to API. Now, an API is application programming interface. Uh, you can always read from the internet, okay? It's a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk to each other. APIs can an accessible way to extract and share data within and across the organization. Yes. So, for example, if, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example. Mhm. Okay, it's not coming. Now, so everyone knows what a backend is, right? Do we all know what a backend is? So what is a backend comprised of? Maybe we start from there. Yes, now tell me, what is a backend according to you? It's a database. Thank you, Dennis. Leave alone the codes. Behind the scene, yes. Now, so when we have the backend, a backend can be any programming language that's written using maybe a web framework. Okay. So the backend is the one that communicates with the database, for example, like a Python. So Python communicates with database. Now, for example, if I've created a front end is comprised of only the static parts. The static is like HTML and CSS and JavaScript, things that don't change. Now, if I've created the front end, I'll need something to communicate with the backend, right? So in between them is what you call the API. It's like a chef. Okay, the backend is a chef who cooks at a kitchen. The front end guy is the person sitting at a hotel ordering food. Now, the person getting that food from the chef to the client, now you, the front end, is called who? The API, that waiter. I believe that now sinks in, right? Thank you, Evelyn. Yes, is that guy at the center, the health? Good one. Yes, yes. I can see you guys already have good examples here. Yes, now let's proceed. All right, so it's there. You'll play with it later. If it gives you any error, don't be afraid. Just send me the screenshot in the WhatsApp and then I'll respond to you. Now, I did not even explain what an inner join is. So, an inner join clause joins two tables based on a condition, which is known as a join predicate. The inner join clause compares each row from the first table with every row from the second table. If values from both rows satisfy the join condition, the inner join creates a new row whose column contains all columns of two rows from both tables and includes the new row in the result set. In other words, the inner join clause includes only matching rows from both tables. Hey, I've talked too much. Let's just complete this immediately. Okay, that was a request by Alvin Wangi. So I had to complete it. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Tomorrow is gonna be a brighter day. I tell you, after these 16 weeks, it's gonna be a brighter day. You guys are gonna be hired as a junior developer and you'll be working now as backend developer. Some of you are gonna be working as a project manager, product manager. Yeah, just take note of what we are telling you. So some of the things that you're teaching you here is what you'll find in real world. Okay. Okay, the one who's asking for my YouTube playlist, I'm using YouTube. This is not Spotify. Now, let's come here. I even forgotten about these slides. So we have the inner join. The inner join clause joins two tables based on a join condition, which is known as a join predicate. The inner join clause compares each row from the first table with every row from the second table, and then create something like this. We'll call this a Venn diagram. It's like how your friends call you for a selfie, then you create one image. All right, with that, let's learn about another beautiful type of join. We call it the left join. So with the left join, um, it selects data starting from, oh, sorry. I forgot to give you another example. Let's come back to the inner join. I believe everyone has access to the sales sample. Where do you get this? The sales DB sample under week 2 recording, right? Now, we have quite a number of tables, right? So let's do some kind of inner join with the products table. Where is it? It's here. So you can see this is how the products table looks like, right? We have the product name, product line, the product sale, product vendor, product description, and all that. And then when you open the product lines, there. So I've shared two tables. Have you guys noticed any common column between the two tables? Did you notice any common column? There it is. Okay, I know you already have it. So this one, at least will take less time to tell me. Can you see any common column between the two? This is products, and then this is product lines. Any common column that you guys are seeing? Man's like Fidel, thank you. Man's like Cyrus, thank you. Peter, yes. Jane, nice one. Evelyn, amazing. Victoria, perfect. Can see you guys are not sleeping. You guys are aware. Eish. All right. Stella, thank you. Boniface, perfect. Charlie, nice one. All right. So we want to get uh, records or data from this table and this table. We combine it to get one table. Now to do that, we can use the inner join. So we just write a simple join here. I'll remove this, select, product, code, product name, test description. From products, inner join, hey, inner join, products, using this, they have a common column. I'll just use using product line because you've told me the common column between the two is this one. So we have here the product line, and when you go to the product lines, you have a common column there. So if I execute, We start from use cells, keep forgetting that, and then execute it from the top. And there we have the data from the two tables. So this and this are from the products. This one is from the product line. Please just see where I'm hovering my mouse. This column and this column are from this table called the products. If I open it, you see it's here, right? And this other one is text description is in the product lines. This is the product line. So I assume you already have this data. Now, if you want to combine the two, you use what? An inner join there. So I'll copy this and send it to you. You can either use the sales DB, the sample DB, or create a new one. Yes. Feel free. You have the powers now. Nice one. Now, let's go to the next one. I've given you two examples on that, so you can always try it with other tables. Let's learn about the left join. So with the left join, allow me to go back to the slides. So with the left join, select data starting from the left table. For each row in the left table, the left join compares with every row in the right table. So the left join selects data starting from the left table, right? For each row in the left table, the left join compares with every row in the right join. If the values in the two rows satisfy the join condition, the left join clause creates a new row whose column contain all columns of the rows in both table and include this row in the exact side. So let's see how a left join can be created. Now, let's head back to our SQL workbench. And since we already have the data, let's try to fetch the data from the customers because we now have the data. So we have the customers, right? We also have the orders here. Customers, orders. Let's try to fetch. I'll just use here. Use sales DB. Go to the next line. So select which column do I want? I want the customer number. I also want the customer name. I want the order number. Then the customers that was given to the customer, also the status of the customer's order. From the customers table, left join. Orders using customer number. So the reason why I'm using that, the using a clause or the using statement is because the two tables have a common column called the customer number. Yes. So if I execute this from the top, we get that data and there's the data. But you'll notice something when you try to retrieve on the right side, or how do you know which is the left one or which one is the right one now? So according to the statement, the left one is this one and this is the right one. So when you come here to the right side, because these columns are from the orders table, so they're here, the order number and the status. So when you come back here, you'll see on the right side, we have null. What does it mean? It means the left join clause returns all customers, including the customers who have no order. If a customer has no order, the values in the column order number and the status are null. So first things first, it will look at the left. So its priority will be mostly on the table that is on the left side. So the table that is on the left side, it will return all columns. They will be all present. Okay. But when it comes to the right side, if there are no matching column or rows, it will return what you call null, as you can see here. Yes. Anyone who's lost? Okay, let me paste this and then you copy. There. So you can try with that that I've shared. There it is, the left join. So copy it. Just highlight, you click your mouse and then copy, then try it on your end. There. So the next thing is the right join. So what exactly is a right join? So this is another type of join, except that it's similar to the left join, except that the treatment of left and right table is reversed. The right join starts selecting data, okay, from the right table instead of the left table. Now, the right table, the right join clause selects all rows from the right table and matches rows in the left table. If a row from the right table does not have a matching rows from the left table, the column of the left table will have null in the final result. So let's test. Let's come back to the SQL workbench and try to see how we can write the right join. So which other table can I work with? I can work with okay, the customers maybe and the employees. So we have the customer, right? We also have the employees. Let's work with that. I'll just change this. So I'll try to get data for the employee number. Another thing I can get regarding the data is maybe the customer number from the the customers. I can just let the customers be there, and then here supposed to be right join employees. If you're wondering where I'm getting this table, once you get this data from the week 2, you'll get all these tables with all this data, and then you can play with it. Now, here, since there's no matching column, I'll use the on sales rep employee number equal to the employee number. Let's try to see. Okay, we're getting an error. So the table customer does not match. It's because of miss an S. And there we have it. So another thing I can add here is maybe the order by. You can also combine it with the commands that you learned. Order by the employee number. So yeah, there it is. So there is the right join. So this is how you can maybe okay, let me share with you the commands. You can test there. So we've talked about the left, the right, the inner, And finally, let's talk about the full join, not full outer, but full join. So with the full join, it returns all records when whether there's a match in either left or right. So this one is simple. You just change here and say full join. So I'll use an example that I've used before, and then voila, like that. So it's the same like the inner join. You combine data from the two table and then get one result set. So I've shared both the codes from the left, the right, and the full join. So yeah, you can either use my sample DB or create a new one, fill it with data, and then play with it. Yeah, and with that, okay, yeah, I have me. So I believe most of you have been sitting like this, watching me instead of writing down. Yeah, I know you. Another joke that I have is, why does a front-end developer eat alone? Because he does not know how to join tables. So these are most of you will be feeling once the clients start paying. I hope the sound is there.
The economy is doing wonderfully.
Yeah, the economy is doing wonderfully. Okay, not for now, not for Kenyans though.
Zap.
Yeah.
Why did you cut that video? I wanted to see the part.
No, he does not do this, but
The economy is doing wonderfully.
yeah, it ends at that. The economy is doing wonderfully if the client has paid. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, if you have something in your pocket, the economy is doing wonderfully. But for most Kenyans right now, hey, it's cries. It's premium tears. Yeah, let me get someone as we finalize to read for us the checkpoint question, and then I'm gonna check in your question. Okay, Gerard will take in your question. Yeah, and then we get to discuss. Gerard will only take 5. So if you want to read this for us, yeah, you can read for us. Dolapo, Kolade. Dolapo.
Hello?
Hey, hi, what's up?
I'm fine, good evening. Well, it's evening now, right?
Okay,
So I
great.
should
Now,
start. Can I go
huh?
ahead and
Wow. Your mic is not that good. Maybe try to fix your mic.
can you hear me now?
We can't hear you. Okay, try to read.
Okay. What is the difference between an inner join and a left join in SQL? Name three
Yes.
different.
Now, oh, wait. Now, what's the difference, guys, between an inner join and a left join? It's simple. So, what's the difference between an inner join and a left join? Yeah, can now type. Now, what's the difference between the left join and the left join and the inner join? Please don't use Google. Just try to remember. Let's see. Can see you, David Rickens. Nice one. Left join fetches data from the left side. Nice one, David. The inner gen returns matching values from both tables. Thank you so much, the two gens. The next question, Dolapo.
The next question is, name three different types of relationships in SQL.
All right. So we've learned about different types of relationship in SQL. As I promised, I won't be mentioning this time again. I know when I said relationship, most of you have gone through it when it comes to the relationship, but I promise you it's not the same as the real one, okay? Now, what are the different types of relationship that we have in SQL? Nice one, Deborah. Ngwenya, nice one. Brand, thank you. Amazing. Lewis, Litemba, nice one. Lowell, thank you. Deborah, Evelyn, nice one. Brian, perfect. Alphonse, perfect. Adewale Nehemiah, perfect. All right, so yeah. Now let me get another person to read for us the key takeaways, and then we can call it a night. Shirley?
Okay,
Shirley is not there.
I'm here.
All right, cool. Now
The
read
inner
for us.
joy. Okay, the key takeaways. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
The inner join clause joins two tables based on a condition which is known as a join predicate. The left join selects data starting from the left table. For each row in the table, the left join compares with every row in the right table. The right join starts selecting data from the right table instead of the left table. Then the full join returns a result set table with the matched data of two tables, then remaining rows of both left table, then the right table. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, Shirley. You're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. I saw someone again remind me something. Rickens. I swear, Ricken. I'll do a session on that just because of you. You reminded me a lot on that one. Yeah, I still remember. Also, I want to tell you guys, I don't know how many of you have this tool installed or have ever heard about Docker. Maybe you can just type in the commands. I'm not in the chats. Have you ever heard about Docker or what it is? Okay. Never. Okay. Don't be using the never word. Just say no. Because again, I saw also a few learners were saying, I've never received feedback. Don't use the word never. Just say, I haven't received feedback. Never is a strong word. All right. So I can see quite a number. Don't know what this is. Now, I wanted to do something with the database regarding Docker next week. Me and Jared, we have that planned. I think so. It's gonna be a lab work. Okay. We'll try to make it as easy as possible. Meanwhile, just try to install it, have it. But okay, what I want to tell you, just install it if your computer has sufficient storage, because it uses a lot of storage. Kindly install it. Please don't install it if you know your computer lags. It will lag forever. Please don't install it if your computer lags. Now, so you can always have it, and then I'll show you how it works with maybe a database next week. Another thing, we're still not done with the database part. I'll still show you how to work with the database in cloud. So you can tell me which cloud platform that you want to see us working with, and then I'll see how we can organize that. Okay, nice one. I see GCP, AWS, AWS. All right, Azure. Okay, I'll try to create a course around the ones that we have accounts in. All right, and with that, if you're watching the recording, this is where I stop the recording. The class has ended here. And then to take in questions. I know you have a lot of questions, so I want to give Gerard this opportunity to take in your question. Yeah, again, if you don't hear from me, see you next week. We can interact in the chats. Bye.
Thank you.
Wait. Before I forget, okay, let me share my screen. Sorry, guys. Yeah, if you come here, remember the Airbnb. I've not been able to review some of your work, so I want to get some of you to review your peers' work. Okay, so if you come here and you come to the Hey, why is it lagging? Hey, just taking time. Okay, there. So if you come to the pull request, we have quite a number of submission. Just feel free to go under any and then review their work. So if you review anyone's work, just make sure you write it there. So for example, if you're doing John's work, first place to start is the first changes, and then try to see what John was trying to achieve. So try to see if whatever John has written here, does it match with what is in this ERD? Okay, so does it match? Does the data flow from here to here? Does it show the cardinality? That is what I want you to go and review. And now, once you're done, please just, if you're okay with it, you can just write it there that you agree with whatever maybe Jane Mutegias has submitted, like how Stanley is currently doing. Thank you, Stanley. Now, with that, we have like two issues which have not been assigned to anyone. So we have this issue, create guest type, and also the booking guest type. We also have the new review component type, which has not been assigned to anyone. Reason being, the ones who are there have been assigned an issue, or yeah, they've already been assigned an issue. So I said I want to give as many people as I can. So if you see you are able to tackle any that have not been assigned, just go and write for me there. Don't mention my name because it's not me sometimes who usually assigning people these issues to work on. Sometimes it's Gerald, sometimes it's another person. So just make sure you don't mention me. You say, just say, I would like to contribute to this issue, and then they'll assign you because it's not always me reviewing your work. Yeah, we are so many of us. So as I said, we are using this. I believe when you guys will be hired as front-end, not product manager or project manager, you'll be using such kind of a tool called Kanban. So with Kanban, you use it to track people's project, okay? And then this is what you are going to show, what you call the key stakeholders. So we have all that, and then you can see the teams and what the team is doing, and you can see the roadmap, the reviews, and everything. So you can always play with it. I believe I've given people access to it. Yes, hey, I've talked much. Thank you so much, Gerald. Take it over now.
No, let's give instructor Zaplon a round of applause. I think we've managed to get to the end of this session. It has been quite a very long day. I think you can stop the recording, Zaplon. Thank you so much for joining us. For those that joined,